You want to remove us all?
Sama mi criola, cola na mim, pensa na passar, sabe, coladeira. Sabura ela na nos terra Cabo Verde, lá não tá sentindo na meio nos tradição. Sabura ela na nos terra Cabo Verde, lá não tá sentindo na meio nos tradição. Dança mami criola, cola na mim. Pensa na passada, sabe, no coladeira. Dança uma migriola, colada mim. Pensa na passada, sabe, no coladeira. La nota si na meio nos tradição. La nota si na meio nos tradição. Mi vou per tão forte que pra me sentir calor de bom morinha o Cabo Verde. Diga na mi vou per tão forte que pra me sentir calor de bom morinha o Cabo Verde. Sabura ela na nos terra Cabo Verde, lá não tá sentir a meio nos tradição.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba. Tonight, hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba. Oh dear, I'm in trouble with my phone. Sorry about that. Tonight, we're going to talk about music and musicality. My name's Andrea. I think you see me, probably some of you, dancing around the clubs in London. I also run the Zinger Nights in Camberwell, and we will bring in the presenter of the evening, Gario.
Thank you, Andrea. So, welcome to all our listeners and viewers. As Andrea said, this is Let's Talk Kizomba, the Kizomba community talk show coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. This is a show for dancers, teachers, DJs, promoters, and organizers to share, discuss, debate, and of course, talk about the current topics. Our shows aim to raise awareness amongst the dance community of what's hot on the dance floor. No topic is too taboo. We'll talk about all subjects with no exception. You're all encouraged to submit your questions, your comments, and your views in the chat, and we aim to read everything that you send us and discuss it with our panel and, of course, our hosts. It's more than a conversation, guys. It's your dance, your opinion, your show. Before we get started, we just like to, as always, raise some awareness for you. Please don't get personal, if possible, with ourselves, the hosts and panels, and the presenter, with organizers and promoters and DJs. Let's be careful when we're being personal. Of course, you can mention club nights and teachers or whatever, but let's do it in a constructive way and in a way that we can help grow the scene and discuss ideas. Okay, so before we go any further, I would like to introduce our co-host, very popular on the scene, very well known. Yes, it's Super Dixon. Good evening, sir. How are you?
How you é, mi gente? Good evening, boa noite, como tá toda a gente? How are you, everybody? Welcome to another Let's Talk Kizomba. Oh my God, looking forward for this. This is the time that I have to introduce myself one more time. Yes.
Oh yes.
All right. For those that know me, my name is Super Dixon. I'm a DJ, MC, promoter, radio presenter. Above everything, the dance teacher, and above everything, an entertainer. And I'm a full-time professional in the dance game. And I'm also a palop. I was born in Mozambique, but I grew up in Portugal. Palop, For those who don't know, is Países Africanos de Língua Oficial Portuguesa, the African countries with official language as Portuguese. So I'm here to give my input and experience regarding, uh, let's say, how does it work in our culture versus how does it work in the UK. So I'm looking forward for today. Is a subject that is very close to my heart. So let's get the ball rolling. Keep subscribing and don't forget to share. Azembara.
Thank you, Super Dixon. A lovely intro there from Super Dixon. Again, viewers and listeners, welcome to the show. We also have a wonderful panel. A wonderful panel. Okay, we've got experienced dancers. They've all come from the salsa scene into the Kizomba scene. They have a lot of experience over the last 12 years. So we'll go one by one and introduce them. First of all, Foxy. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Fox. How are you? Introduce
I'm
yourself.
good. Yes, I'm Winston Fox. I think people already know who I am, but I've been in the scene for gone 12 years, coming from not just salsa, but from a reggae background, which was totally different to the Kizomba scene. But yeah, I'm heavily involved in terms of the dance scene. I'm not a teacher, promoter. I'm just a mere dancer. But I do go to a lot of festivals and travel a lot. So I will throw in my two pence worth for whatever it's worth. I'll add my comments and see where we go.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. And of course, guys, viewers, listeners, please value our time with our panel. They're very, very good, nice people, great dancers. Next, Sonia. Introduce yourself, Sonia, to the viewers and listeners.
Good evening, Kizomba family. My name is Sonia. I've been dancing Kizomba for 12, possibly 13 years, and salsa a lot longer. I just love the Kizomba scene. It's part of my blood. I live to dance, dance to live. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Thank you, Sonia. And Petronia, welcome to the stage. Introduce yourself to any of our new viewers and listeners.
Hello, everyone. I'm Petronia, known on the scene like Sonia. I've danced 12 plus years in Kizomba, salsa, many more years. Before that, dancing has always been a part of my life. I trained as a dancer and I did lots of dancing semi-professionally before I was into salsa and Kizomba. So it was always going to be a given that I was still going to be dancing. Yes, as I said, like Sonia and Winston, I'm not a promoter. I like to dance. I like the vibe. I like the industry. I like all of that, and don't see it changing anytime soon. I am very well able to sort of give my little two penneth worth in, but it's just my opinion, and I'm just representing myself as far as a dancer in the scene. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the panel. It's great to hear from you, and we do value you, and I hope our listeners and viewers do too. And we're about to go into this subject, and what better subject to go into? Musicality, a very important subject, and of course it's very close to the heart of our hosts, so we've gone with musicality. So guys, as we know, listeners and viewers, it's very important for dancers to have musicality. So we always start with this question, and I'll go to Andrea first. Andrea, what is your definition of musicality? If you can share that with us.
Musicality comes from the soul. I feel it's a very hard when you're teaching. To teach musicality is very difficult. So we can share our feelings as teachers and instructors of what we feel is musicality, but it's listening to the song. For me, again, it's about knowing the history of where the music comes from, what the music means to those from the country of origin. Musicality is about enjoying the song Um, I've been dancing I don't know how long, and you come across people who have obviously had a lesson or two, and they will dance at the same speed through the whole song, off beat. But is that their musicality? Is that, I think it's different for everybody. Some people focus on the melody, the lyrics, different instruments, all of those things. It's those things that mean something to the dancer, to the lead. It's a bit more difficult when you're a follower, because obviously you're led by the lead who is listening to the music, and you follow them, you mirror them. But yeah, to me, musicality is sharing my love of the song that's I'm dancing to and playing with it.
Interesting. Andrea, just before I move on, when you say playing with it, this is just something that's come to me. Are you really playing with it? Because shouldn't musicality be kind of a strict response to the music rather than a kind of a free response? What's your view on that? So you got the song, you should be flowing and moving in a particular way that the song, I guess, is inspiring you to move. Would you say that, or am I wrong?
I would say that so I can hear a song. So if I'm leading, which I do a lot, and it will depend on who I'm dancing with, what the venue's like, what the sound system's like, and how that song is speaking to me in that moment. If I danced it in another venue with another partner on a different night, I might be in a different mood, and my musicality to that will be different. Musicality is something within you, and it's not about being governed by anything. The only thing you're governed by is the music. The music is always the master, but it's not like a set routine or a set of steps. It's what's the music leading me to do? How am I feeling in me? And how is that song making me move?
Andrew, it's very interesting. I like that response. I want to come back to that at some point because I want to kind of go in a bit deeper. We'll move to Dixon. Same question, Mr. Dixon. What is your interpretation of musicality? Because Andrew's just given us hers, and I think it's very interesting what she said. What about you?
Well, first and foremost, for me, musicality is obviously it's to do with the ability of the dancer to interpret and express to the music, right? And to the instruments that are being played, right? But in my okay, so taking this, I can listen to a song and I can interpret the way I want to, if it makes sense. But when you come into a dance, the particular dance, there's certain sets of rules that the music has and that the dance has that we need to inherently respect and abide for. Make sense? So that ability, it's not inherent to everybody. Not everybody has that ability, and it's the teacher's task to give you the tools in order for you to know how to navigate throughout the music and throughout the dance. So musicality for me, it's a very, very, very something close to my heart because I grew up in a very different setting. I grew up in a pull-up setting. So different music, different dance. Different dance, different rules. Question is, who knows them all? Or who is respect them all? So I think that's my quick response so I don't go too nuts.
Dixon, I'm gonna ask you again. So you mentioned something about respect there. Can you just a little bit give us a little bit more? Is it respecting what the music is telling you? And I think that would go, if I'm not wrong, go with what I was asking Andrea. not to be governed by it, but not to be so free, I'm guessing. So the music is saying this, so you should do that. So when you say respect, could you just kind of expand on that a little bit?
When I say respect, it can go in different degrees here. It can be different degrees. I think the best way to explain is something so simple. For example, as I'm dancing to a song, the beat stops, I stop. Something simple like that. And this is a
Yeah.
simple respect towards the music, towards the musician. And I'm going to give you this. This can go from me pressing play on the music or me having a live band. As soon as the singer says stop the drums, you stop the drums, we stop moving. That's, again, when I'm talking about respect, it respect to what's happening. What is the music telling us? What is the singer trying to tell us here when it tells us to stop? Right? And I can extrapolate very easily to say respect the music and respect the culture. When, imagine you're listening to a samba track, for example, that it's about your parents passed away. It's about how much, for example, you miss your ex-wife or whatever. And it's a song that it's telling a story that is not a sexual story, and you are blatantly grinding the partner that is dancing with you. So this respect can go as a respect towards the music, respect towards the culture, respect towards the person you're dancing with, in the sense of I don't think that song is appropriate. And someone would say, "Oh, I have my own musicality. I can do what I want." In my honest and professional opinion, no, you cannot.
Yeah, I think I agree
No,
with
you
you.
cannot.
Yeah,
And I could
I
give
think
you a simple example. We're talking about Kizomba in Cuban salsa. Every time there comes orishas and stuff like that, I know that that's related to religion. It's not my religion. It's like I didn't grow up learning the intricacies of Cuban culture or the Cuban, let's say, Yoruba gods. I would not dare to try to do that because it's not my culture, you know? So I would respect them by not doing so. In Kizomba, we don't have religious matters, but we have different matters, which I hope we can talk about in the show today.
great. Quickly on to Petronia. Petronia, enter the stage. I know it's different because you are, let's say, a dancer, where someone like Dixon or Andrea or myself, we're promoters and we're embedded into the workings of an event. You're a dancer. What in your eyes, musicality? We will look at it slightly different to you. Do you What do you think about musicality?
As both Andrea and Super Dixon touched on, mainly Super Dixon, it is a form of interpreting the music, the song, whilst you're dancing. And I'd go so far as to say that individual people will interpret it differently, as has been said. I'm generally a follower, so I will be following a lead who I would hope to have some degree of knowledge of musicality, but I would be following their interpretation of that. When I first started doing Kizomba, a couple of years in, I remember doing a couple of musicality courses, and this was to enable me to understand better all the different types of music and how you would interpret that music on the dance floor as a lead and as a follower. Now, as a follower, I'm very much governed by how someone else, my leader, would interpret that song with the stopping and the starting and how they would feel that song. And I had felt in the past that there were some differences I felt in that dance. I would have, whilst I'm closing my eyes, listening to a particular song, like maybe Colladera, it will invoke different emotions and feelings in me as a follower, but my leader may be going down a different path. So as Andrea had said, musicality means different things to different people. But when I'm dancing, I sometimes sense how it does mean different things to different people, even within that dance. And it can be sometimes a bit difficult. I like to listen to the music and govern and be governed by how it makes me feel. But there's sometimes a bit of a paradox there, if that makes sense. You know, I wouldn't do that. If someone, you don't have to know the song, you don't have to know where the song stops and starts necessarily. You may not have heard the song before, but sometimes a leader may be a bit oblivious to that. And sometimes I feel that's a bit of a shame, but that may come with more experience or more listening to music or how that person feels about it.
And we'll touch on that, Petronia. We will come on to that in a little while. Winston, what do you reckon? What do you feel about musicality? You're a music man, of course. So what's your understanding of musicality as a dancer? Put your dancing hat on, Winston, or even your performing hat. As we know, Winston's a performer in the UK. Winston, put your hat on as a performer or dancer.
I put my hat on as a dancer. I think what people have said is 100% right, in my opinion. I think musicality is going to differ to each individual, and also to each individual based upon your background and your culture. Because it's about how we take a song and interpretate that song in terms of how you feel about it, and then how you're then going to express that in your dance, and how you're then going to lead your partner. So you're giving your interpretation, your feeling of that song, that music, onto your partner. So it's how I'm going to lead that person. Now, for me, when I first came into the scene, as I said, I come from the reggae background, and we're heavily driven by African drum, bass line. It's, so when I heard Kizomba, I could naturally relate to it when I heard, the beat and the bass line and things like that. When I heard bachata, I can't stand it because it's very tingy. I know people listening might not. I cannot stand bachata, one iota. It just drives me crazy. I cannot relate to that music. Personally, I can't. So for me, it's my background, where I came from, my music I was into, led me to Kizomba December, because I can easily relate to it. I got that connection to it. So that's how I see it. When I first started, and you can't teach somebody musicality per se. You can open their eyes to certain things. But when I first started dancing, we just danced on the beat. And it was the same way all the way through the song. I have no idea about how to then vary my dance until I got more experience. And I remember doing classes. I did a workshop with Tacosta, who is just an awesome dancer. And his musicality is just, if you ever watch Tacosta dance, I could just stand there and just watch this guy dance, because this man would dance and he would vary his pitch, his pace, and how he flows to the music. You got to study people like that. It's not just come on the floor and just dance rapid. No, you start, you have an introduction, you have a middle, and you have an end, and it's just like poetry in motion. And when you're dancing, you try to express that with your partner, particularly if someone that you don't know, and you're dancing with them, and the first few steps, you're just trying to feel out how this person relates to you, how they interact with your body, and so on. And then you can build up your dance. So to me, it's like, I look at it like a beginning, middle, and an end, and build up my dance as that music goes along. So, but it's going to be different, as I said, for every single person. You're going to interpret that music completely different. But I might hear instruments, and I might start dancing to that particular instrument at a certain time. Or I might be dancing and the music might do a break, and I might do a little stutter to go with that music. So it's really, as I said, how you just take the whole song and how you're going to express that to your partner when you're dancing. That to me is musicality.
Winston, thank you so much. That was a wonderful description of an opinion from you. and you rightly pointed out some huge factors where you're from, how you apply it. You mentioned Tocosta, of course. It is a joy to watch him dance. And as we know, and I always said it, when they teach us, there's always some steps they don't teach us. I don't know why. I get a feeling, Winston, Andrew might know this. There's some steps in there, them little taps or steps that they haven't taught us. They've got a few secrets there. They haven't taught us. So, yeah, it does really depend. It might help with the musicality because they just
As,
do something a little bit different,
as
which
somebody
may
said,
be,
sorry to
yeah,
cut you.
yeah.
Somebody once said to me, "That's for a private class." So you do your
You got,
workshop. You want more? That's a private.
yeah. I wonder if Dixon follows that line. We're going to come to Dixon, of
Don't be
course.
fooled.
Sonia, enter the stage.
Well, of course, my fellow panel members have already said most of what I was going to say. Musicality is about being able to interpret the music, express yourself on the dance floor, and basically anticipate where the drops are going to be, where the drums stop, where the guitars start, where the vocalist starts. And as a follower, as a dancer, I think it's fair to say that you rely on your leader to change tempo, do some different stops, moves, starts, tricks, dips, whatever. One of the things I'd like to say is, and I've said before, is that I'm from a musical background. My background's always been music. I've been out with my ex-partners have all been DJs, funny enough. Growing up as a child, my dad, we always had house parties. So music is in my blood. And I like to think that I can interpret and appreciate music. One of the things that pains me to see is dancers who dance urban kiz to music which is clearly not urban kiz. The other thing that pains me is to see couples flying around the room like they're on stage, inappropriately dancing to music that doesn't call for that. So I always appreciate a partner that can lead me on the dance floor and in time to the music, appreciating the music. And I think I said in one of the earlier podcasts that I was dancing with someone at a venue, and the track that was played, it was like the ancestors were calling me. It just got me right there. And I think that's an appreciation of musicality.
Thank you, Sonia. That was also delightful in the description. And we will talk later because I think Dixon gave it the cousin eyes about dating DJs. We're going to come back to that, Sonia. Anyway, guys, we're going to move on. Question to the hosts. They are in the best position to answer this. It's a tough one. Mr. Dixon, how can you teach musicality? Simple. How can you teach musicality? Is it possible?
So, that's something that triggered me many, many, many years ago. Many years ago, because first and foremost, music is the first thing that you get infused with. So when you grow up with music, you're listening, and you see what your, let's say, your elders are doing, your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, and obviously it's based on monkey see, monkey do. And it's as simple as, if you dance off beat, calm down, Andrea, I'm coming. It's the same thing I always say in my classes. I always say this in my musicality workshops, or even in a normal class. I always say this: if you miss a beat, there was going to be a parent, there's going to be an uncle, there's going to be an auntie, a granny, who's going to put the flip flop on, and it's going to say, do not miss the beat. Do not dance off beat, And this can go from African, Caribbean, Latin cultures, like stop dancing off beat type of thing, right? So when it comes to a more professional perspective as a dance teacher, I didn't understand when I came to the scene, festival scene, and then even coming to different dance backgrounds, especially coming to London to see people dancing, there was more people that can dance, but I still see a discrepancy, not only in Kizomba, but in all the other genres, where everybody's moving, nobody's listening to the music. And I can tell you very, very few people. And for me, that kind of triggered me because I was teaching my classes on day one, and in day one, I teach music. Whatever songs I'm trying to teach with the move, I always explain what's happening with the music. I'm always explaining where the changes, where everything in order to continue, right? And there was something really, really that kind of triggered me a lot when I was seeing, for example, other instructors and even instructors that you say that you praise very high. The music just started. There's not even a beat, and everybody's already doing side to side. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. And I will say one more time. You start to do side to side. The beat is not even on. Even when you hear the tss, 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 that's just like a not yet. We're nearly there. And everybody's doing side to side. And I'm like, why? I was like, why are you doing side to side? When side to side is like, that song is not even a song that you should be dancing on side to side. Because not every Kizomba song this needs you to dance side to side. But I suppose, oh, everybody's teaching side to side. And I'm not gonna lie, the teacher that I was shadowing, learning how to teach, because I knew how to dance, I didn't know how to teach. So that's very important. I'm learning how to teach, and I'm seeing this guy teaching and start already with side to side. I looked at him, I was like, in the end of the class, let's have a side conversation, because the teacher I was shadowing, it wasn't a Palop teacher, it was an African teacher, the teacher salsa and bachata, but he was doing side to side, and I was like, so again, I think it's very important that whoever is teaching or whoever is learning to be a teacher, you need to know these little things and details, because everybody wants to be a teacher, but you don't know the music. You don't know that little tiny detail that we do not do side to side until the song actually requests us to do side to side. For example. So I think it's very important that people teach this. And also, a lot of people go to classes in the UK and they don't do beginners. They want to go, improve. I've been learning salsa for 10 years. I don't need to be a beginner. I can go very well to the improvers. Wrong. Wrong. Because again, for me, as a concept of beginner improvers, I should not be teaching musicality. It's already moves or whatever. Not wrong. I thought that too. But then I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to teach them musicality in any given class. Because in our culture, when you go to a higher level, maybe we already assume that you already know the music, you already know how to navigate throughout the music, so that we can help you to start the beat is on, let's play a samba track. Already some samba tracks are already, it's on the go. You already can start the side to side, invite the lady, let's action time, right? And then we teach the class. But still, some people cannot even do the side to side on tempo. Everybody's still dancing bachata, tapping, tapping, tapping. I can go further. When you do a travel, 1, 2, 3, most people still have muscle memory on salsa. They're doing 1, 2, 3, salsa mambo, pow. And I'm like, and you know how I know all these things? When I came to the UK, I started learning salsa and bachata. Yes, Foxy, and bachata. I love bachata. I love Dominican bachata. Let's go there. But again, music it's such a fundamental thing. And I think that a lot of teachers are skipping this. A lot of students are skipping beginners because they think it's boring. That's why coming to what Foxy was saying, some stuff we're never going to teach in a class because it's extra information. If you're learning from beginners from scratch, you will probably learn. If the teacher is a good teacher, you're going to teach you all that if you're patient. But if you're not patient, do a private class. It's going to cost you. But you can learn all the intricacies and all the little variations in a private class, for sure. For sure. And I could swear that a lot of privates that I do is pretty much that. Killing the muscle memory from one genre, doing Kizomba muscle memory than music muscle memory. And trust me, not everybody gets it at the first time. Second time, oh my God. If I continue, but I'm gonna say most African Caribbeans, we all been slapped to dance on the beat, so it kind of works, right? But I'm just gonna conclude so I don't continue to go on my madness. I just want to say one little point to pick up on what Peshonia said. In my honest opinion, when it's about Kizomba, it's about connection between two individuals listening to the music. So the follower is not listening to the music and is relying on the guy to listen to the music. If this guy doesn't know music, does not listen to the music, you are done. But if you are listening to the music, I can say you actually can give an input and tell the guy, I think you're offbeat. Politely, of course. People are sensitive.
Dixon, very interesting, and I'm going to come back to you on. And it's brilliant tonight because I've got a point to come back on all of you. I want to quickly conclude on your opinion. Very quickly, tell me, you got a lesson, a workshop, or a course. How are you physically going to teach this? Is it possible in a short word, or is it what Andrea said? Is from the heart, or from your actual natural ability to move? Can you teach it?
Who's that question for?
You. As in physically, yeah, physically, I'm in the class. Is it something you can physically say to someone, you're not quite getting it, this is what you need to do?
In the UK, I will never correct nobody. Everybody is always right. It's like I have teenager kids. I will never correct them. Not there.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Okay, Andrea.
Private lesson. If the person says to me he wants me to be honest, I will. If that.
Maybe that's a safe bet,
Andrea.
Dixon. Thank you. That's probably a good thing. Andrea, quickly to you.
Yes, Gary.
Yeah, same thing, same question. As a host, as a teacher, can you like literally physically teach musicality to a student?
I think it's incredible. I think you have to take people's egos into this, and people will feel that they are listening to the music. I always encourage people to listen to the music constantly. Listen to a song, fiddle about with your sort of sound and stuff, and hear the bass, but then turn the bass down and listen to the vocals, listen to the melody, listen to the instruments. I think, and I will say that my background is not Caribbean, it's not African. I was raised in a white family who listened to Tom Jones and Petula Clark and the Partridge Family. So when I came into Kizomba, I used to have this argument with one of the instructors all the time. He would say, yeah, he would compliment me on my dancing skills, but he said, that's, you've got an African background. I said, no, I haven't. I said, I was raised on Tom Jones and Petula Clark. But when I used to, bless my poor mother, she thought I was...
Tom Jones is black.
Pardon? My family's white. I was raised in a white family who didn't dance, who were very... What's the word, shall I say? Very conservative in their outlook on life. So when I used to dance around the house to John Jones and Petula Clark, because those are the only LPs we had, besides the sort of folk music as well that they used to listen to, I was dancing to the guitar maybe, or maybe to a drum beat, or I wasn't dancing just on a beat. I was expressing myself to the music, and I say my mum thought I was possessed. Maybe I am. I'm not sure about that. But so when people say it's only people from certain cultures that have musicality, it's not. I think it's within you. It's how you listen to music. Maybe it's my ancestors talking to me. Maybe I don't know what it is. It's just when I dance, I mean, my dance starting was way back in the clubs in the disco days, where I used to get free entry to clubs if I'd get everybody up dancing at the beginning of the night. And I started that 15, 16. And that was my introduction to dancing. And I thought, this is what I want to do. Then I had to start paying bills. So I had to change that tact a little bit. But music is in me. I would say to people, I can dance to a raindrop. I can dance to trolleys being clattered about at the shops. I can hear the rhythm in it. I can hear the when you're walking down a stream, you can hear the rhythm of life. It literally, dancing to me is the rhythm of life. And I'm sure there's a song about that somewhere. But it's just there in you. So to teach that to somebody who has closed their mind maybe to musicality, or somebody has said to them, you can't dance, because they weren't dancing in the way that they thought that they should be dancing. I know a lot of people come to the class say, oh, I can't dance. Oh. And when you ask them, it's because somebody took the mickey out of them for the way they dance. Everybody, our hearts beat with a rhythm. We all have rhythm within us. We just need to release that rhythm somehow. And it's about the teacher finding the way to free that person to release their rhythm. It's there, it's somewhere. I'll find it for you. I'll find it for you. If you've got a heartbeat, I'll teach you how to dance. May not be like Winston, it may not be like me, it may not be like anybody else, but it is within you to dance to your rhythm, to your beat. And then we can build on the musicality. Then we can, once you've got over your fear of making a fool of yourself on the dance floor, or wondering what someone's going to say to you, once you've got over that initial fear, then we can move to musicality. And I would practice just dancing on the beat with the person first. Then we'd move to dancing, I don't know, on the melody. And that's really hard because people don't listen to maybe the melody or the singer. And it's about identifying that for people who maybe can't hear that within the song, because you need to sit and listen, sit with the song and go, oh yeah, I can hear that the singer's slowing down their voice, or they're speeding up and they're reaching a crescendo. The one thing that I will say is I have a real issue with DJs who cut songs, because I know the song, I'm waiting for that crescendo to come, and I know and they stop, or they go into another song, and I'm, excuse me, I want to pay, I want to hear the whole song, because I know where my dance is going, and then it's like stopping somebody talking mid-sentence, and I'm like, oh, if you see my face, you'll get it. But that's my bugbear about DJs. I think they have a hard job, and I think they're fabulous, all the DJ friends that I have. Please stop cutting the songs. I want to listen to the whole song. But yeah, did that answer your question, Gary? Sorry.
Well, I'm just thinking, you saying you would do dance to the beat. I'm just really trying to nail this down for the host, their teachers. So you dance to the beat, and suppose they got the Mick Jagger syndrome where they can't hear the music and their body is doing something different, possessed by the devil. That syndrome, Mick Jagger syndrome. So how do someone is in your class and you say you'd move to the beat. Is there anything else you could do to strip out, if possible, to strip out this kind of non-appreciation of the music?
Okay, so I had a gentleman who came to my class where I used to teach, another venue, and he said, I hate Kizomba. I don't like the music. And I said, oh, well, why are you here then? He said, well, I just fancy learning another dance. I said, all right then. Do you know, by the time, obviously I finished teaching at that venue for various issues, but anyway, he came to my other venue because he liked the way I taught, and he developed a love for Kizomba. I didn't tell him he had to do this or he had to do that. I just shared my passion. If you have a teacher, and this is when I was learning, the teachers that I went to were the teachers that had the passion for the dance and the passion for teaching me the dance. For some teachers, it's about them, and it's about them boosting their ego and about everything. To me, it's about sharing my passion of a dance with someone. And if someone's not understanding what I'm teaching them, I need to change the way that I'm teaching so that they do understand it. So this guy really didn't like it. I don't even know why he came. And every week he'd say, I really don't like this. But he developed a love for it. And actually he became quite a good dancer. And I was really surprised because he'd been so like, I don't want to do this. This isn't a dance I want to learn. But he did. And he still goes out dancing now. So that's, not bigging myself up, but I think we connected. Dixon was talking about connection earlier. Teachers have to connect with their students. You can go to, this is why I don't go to festivals, room full of 5,000 people and one teacher. How's he going to connect with me? Because he can't see me, he can't talk to me. I'd much rather go to a smaller event where there's more interaction with the teacher and the teacher connects with me.
Thank you, Andrea. That is a bit of input there where we can start to see how a teacher would, of course, try to teach musicality. For the panel, I'm going to switch it. I'd like to gauge from you guys your understanding of musicality, and do you believe you can be taught it? So, Winston, if you went to class, Petronia, Sonia, and you were there and you think, I'm not quite on it, do you believe you could be taught? We've got about 5 minutes to the first song, so we might go after the break, but we'll start with Sonia. Sonia, do you believe you can be taught musicality? Andrea mentioned at the beginning it's within you. You feel this feeling, maybe being called from your ancestors. Yourself described it. So, do you believe you could be taught musicality in a class?
Me personally, or generally? I think 99% of the population could be taught, but there's always that 1% that no matter how you try or how long they learn for, they'll just never get it.
And why do you think that is, Sonia?
Because they just don't have the musicality. They can't hear it. They have the Mick Jagger syndrome, as you put it.
It's so funny. It's so funny. But the others that don't have it, they can be taught it. So they don't have the Mick Jagger syndrome. They just need to be coached. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. As I said, 99%, or maybe 99.9% of people you could teach musicality to. But I think there's always going to be that, 0.1% that just will never get it.
Maybe we should send them to Andrea. We should send them to Andrea.
Or maybe. I mean, there's a particular person that from the old SIBO's days that I still see now and again, and he still can't dance. And that's years, 12, 13 years of learning to dance.
Wow.
But it just happens, doesn't it?
Wow. Really interesting. So there is hope. Sonia said 99% of people can be taught musicality. Sonia, thank you for giving everyone hope, the listeners and the viewers and ourselves. Petronia, over to you. Do you believe you could be, or 99% of the Kizomba nation could be taught musicality?
Mm-hmm. I agree to an extent. I think it helps if you really like the music, if the music is calling you and you have a love of that music, you can feel something, some instrumentation, depending on your background. For example, you like the melody, you like the bass line, something is moving you to it, and you listen to that music apart from dancing, I feel that will call you to it. So over a period of time, especially if you're not a great dancer, like Andrea had given that example of someone who'd come along and didn't like Kizomba, didn't like the music, didn't like the culture, but for some reason he was moved to come along and he continued, and Andrea was able to get it out of him to be able to learn to dance. Now, that's because it grew on him, and in some way, with Andrea's help, for example, or good teacher's help, he was able to feel that interpretation. So yes, it will take time for some people, but for other people, you're drawn to it. And if you've listened to the music whilst you're learning to dance and informed yourself, you will get there eventually. But everyone's interpretation is still going to be different. Everyone is still going to dance differently. Even after many years, you might think, wow, this person still cannot, or I cannot. You may not even know it in yourself, but it's that love of that music that will keep you coming along back to the dancing. You may never get it, and some people may pick it up straight away. But yes, in essence, I agree with Sonia. 99% of people can get there. But when you're dancing with someone as a partner dance, that interpretation, you have to find a way to sort of gauge that musicality with you both, because you're both still feeling it, but you're both feeling it differently. So yes, the answer is yes, but there'll always be some that, one or two that won't get it. It doesn't mean they don't have a love for it. It just means they haven't yet found a way to interpret it on the dance floor. They're listening to something else differently in their head.
Wonderful. Thank you. Winston, quickly, Mr. Fox. We know your lovely nuggets and words of wisdom. Can dancers or prospective dancers be taught musicality in the class?
I think to a certain degree, I would say not 100%. The reason I say that, I think you can influence somebody if you attend a workshop, and you can point certain things out in terms of listening to different instruments and maybe dancing to that instrument rather than just dancing on the beat. But once you've imparted that knowledge, it's how you assimilate it and then how you're going to then apply that. So you can give them the information, is whether they're going to stick to it or not, because again, the musicality that we have is down to the individual. That's in my opinion. So for me, I think the best way, yes, you can do a workshop, but the best way to get your musicality is, number one, to listen to the music. Don't just go to a club and listen to Kizomba or Semba or Ghetto Zouk or whatever it is. Play it at home, play it in the car. If I'm driving, I'm just listening to Kizomba Semba. Everywhere I go, at home, I'm playing it. So to me, that gives you a sense of the music and understanding what the music. I don't understand Portuguese. I'm trying to learn it, but I can take a song and I can interpret that song just by hearing the picture of how that singer is singing and the type of music that is there, and I vary my dance to that. Yeah, but to me, you have to listen to it, and you have to watch videos of the good dancers, the teachers that are in the demand. Watch how they dance. Watch how they interact with the music that's being played, and how they lead their partner and things they might do or might not do. So for me, once you do that, listen to music, watching, studying yourself, you would understand a bit more about the dance and how to dance differently. I dance completely different from when I first began, because, as I said, I was just dancing on the beat before. Whereas now, I will vary my dance. I will slow down when I need to. I will try to start off gradually and build up into a crescendo and so on, so that it imparts something different to my dance partner. They feel like they're on a journey. That's what I'm trying to deliver. So for me, I would have only had that because I study music and I watch dancers. I looked at so many videos. You know, I go to a class, I take the video, I go home and I look at it, and I look at how they dance, how they interpret the music, things they did at a certain time. To me, that's how you're going to do it. But as I said, you're going to interpret the music. Everyone's going to interpret music differently. And to me, that is based upon your background. It depends on your own taste of music, things that you like to do when you're dancing. So, but I think it's like, for example, you can't teach somebody style. You can have everyone's gonna have a different style of dancing, I can't teach somebody my style of dancing. They have their own way of moving and their own movement. So they're going to put their movement onto that dance. And I think that's the same thing with musicality. You have to have that from within. It's going to be different to everybody. We all speak a different language when it comes to how we interpret music.
Mr. Fox, that's wonderfully put, and you're very right in what you're saying. And I'm very interested on something before we come to the next song and the messages. Something you were saying about, you know, your heritage and everything that can impact. But I'm going to leave something with all you guys. When you get a comment of you dance like that teacher or you dance like that teacher, I've had it, others have had it. Is that a form of being trained in musicality? When someone says, oh, you dance like that teacher or you dance like that teacher? I'll leave that with you guys. We'll go to the song break with Andrea and we'll come back and we look at all our comments and we'll move on with the musicality questions. Andrea, what have you got for us?
Tenho coração triste, sentiu prima jolie, bonita pra mim. Cada vez que me encosta, tenho coração pobre, tá sentindo buché. Diz tchau, mas nunca se dá conta que não passa rua, mas todo dia uma chora. Diz tchau, mas nunca se dá conta que não passa rua, mas todo dia uma sofrer. Diz tchau, mas nunca se dá conta que não passa rua, mas todo dia uma chora. Casamento como está nele, tem que chorar, mas diga sim. Casamento como está nele, tem que sofrer, mas diga sim, prima. Casamento como está nele, tem que chorar, mas diga sim. Casamento como está nele, tem que sofrer, mas diga sim, prima. Chora pra coração sofrer, sofrer por criar filhos na canseira. Chora pra coração sofrer, sofrer por criar filhos na canseira. Chora pra coração sofrer, sofrer por criar filhos na canseira. Prima Jolie, maneira que tinha, sou um amigo não. Vou matar flema, tenho que decidir. Quando decidir também, aí preciso pensar. Que legado os cantigas. Barça, oh bimbe, oh sua beija, o tono bingola pagode. Prima, bimbarça, sua barça, oh bimbe, oh sua beija, o tono bingola pagode. Prima Jolie, maneira que tinha, sou um amigo de não mata problema, tenho que decidir. Quando decidir também, aí preciso inventar cálculo, que legado os cantigas. Barça, uma barça, a bimbeja, uma beija, o tono bingola, pagode. Prima, bimbarça, uma barça, oh bimbeja, uma beija, o tono bingola, pagode. Prima, bimbarça, uma barça, oh bimbeja, uma beija, o tono bingola, pagode. O amor.
Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Talk Kizomba. And we're going to start off with going through some of the comments. Gario.
Yes, Andrea, if you'd like to put some of these comments on the screen, we will go through our loyal fans and supporters and see what they've got to say. If you'd like to put them up on the screen, Andrea, if possible, please. Thank you.
You normally call out which ones you want to focus on.
Yeah. Okay, we can go. I'm not seeing the Facebook users' names, so I'm not sure.
I'm not seeing them. Yeah, there's an
okay,
issue.
well, we know Macas. We know Macas is in the room. We know Macas is in there causing problems. That's for sure. Okay, so one viewer said, for me, it's how you interpret and translate the music into the dance. That's a fair comment, I think. Yeah, it's how can you translate it into the dance? Very good comment. I think that would be a standard and basic conversion. Another one, I moved to an instrument in the break, normally a bass sound, but I am from a salsa background. So there's someone that is moving to the bass sound. And of course, there's very varied instruments and beats within a song. There could be 5 or 6 or 7. And this is why sometimes you see someone dancing 100 miles an hour and another person at 1 because they're hearing different things. So good point there. Another one, that's interesting. Not knowing the language when dancing. Yeah, Winston said he's learning the language. But listen, guys, we can still interpret the music, especially if we're from the Caribbean. So the language, not knowing the language, isn't too much of a hindrance. Someone says, me, don't feel no dance. I think that's Macas. Good evening, Mr. Macas. Again, guys, when the Guyard gets cut, it's just like a ghost face, like unbelievable. So, yeah, I think that echoes Andrew's moans about DJs that cut songs. There's a few more comments we can go through here. Yes, not keen on the show off look. Look at me, teachers. They're too busy looking around to see who's watching them. So just a bit of feedback there for some of these teachers that show off a bit. Yeah, I hope that some teachers are listening. Another one, Andrea here. A song is made up of an intro, verse, chorus, bridge, outro, etc., and how you move to those elements with the instruments that is being played, and that's just the basics. So someone here is going into the intrinsic do's and don'ts
It's
of
Brian Marston.
what's available.
Brian Marston is the one putting all these comments.
Brian, welcome to the show. Thank you, Super Dixon, for your input there. Everyone can learn it. If they give it time and effort. Some take longer, but if they really work on it, it's true. I agree. If you make it your priority, and a lot of people have done in dance, sometimes you go 2-3 years solid practicing, as Winston said, listening to the music in the car, at home. This is all very good stuff to help you on your way. And I definitely believe, especially the guys staying in the beginners for a long time, can really help later on.
That was from Izzy. That comment, everyone can learn.
Yeah. So thank you, Izzy. Hope you're okay. Guys, yeah, so some interesting comments there. I want to ask another question, an interesting one, I think. When you're dancing to different types of music, does this have an impact on your musicality? So if you're dancing Semba, for example, do you lose that kind of, I want to use Dixon's word, it might be the wrong term, but do you lose your respect for the music, as in being really precise when you do, like, for example, Semba? We just use Semba for example. You're dancing Semba and you lose your inhibitions, you lose the strictness, and you're just going for it. And then with maybe a nice melodic Kizomba, you're a bit more strict with your musicality. Do you guys find when with different types of music that you kind of lose a musicality mode and you kind of just a bit freer? Let's go to the panel first. Winston, tell us, do you feel like you like the semba? Do you feel like if it's semba, you lose your strictness? With
No,
Kizomba, you draw it
no.
back.
Musicality is musicality. You apply it to every song, whether it's fast, slow, medium pace, kizomba, samba, ghetto, it doesn't matter. You have to apply your musicality, how you interpret that music to every single song, because we're not robots. It's not robotic. So you have to vary your dance. Obviously, if I'm dancing semba, I'm gonna dance semba with a bit more vibe than I would if I'm gonna dance ghetto zouk or kizomba. If I'm dancing semba and I'm dancing with a competent follower, then I'm gonna do more on the floor. I'm gonna move differently on the floor. I'm gonna do different things on the floor. It's particularly if I feel that my follower is adept at what I'm doing and she's reading my moves, then I will do a lot more on the floor. We'll be flowing, but if I'm dancing to ghetto zouk, then you'll be stupid if you're doing quick moves and dips and tricks. The music isn't calling for that. So you have to put your musicality to every different type of music that's being played at the party. You have to. Otherwise, you'll just stand out. It's like somebody made a comment about Urban Kids and how something not just dance, not all the time, but some of the people that I see dancing in the videos that I see, you look at it, it looks like a car crash because you think to yourself, where is the musicality? I'm lost. What the hell are they doing? So for me, you have to apply it to all the type of music that is being played. You have to.
Thank you, Winston. Wonderful again. Really enjoying your feedback on some of our questions here. Petronia, quickly on to you.
Yes,
Different type of music.
Yeah, I picked up very much quickly on what Winston had said, that competency. If you're a follower and you are competent to a great degree, you will then feel confident in your leader, and that will impact on your musicality. You will feel quite confident in being able to interpret his moves and also being able to put an input in yourself. But yes, musicality comes into every dance. There's no point in dancing, something completely different. I mean, recently, compa, is it compa or conpa? That I may admit, everyone is trying to, compa. Thank you, Super Dixon. Everyone is trying to practice, for want of a better word, their compa with what I call inappropriate music, just because it might be a bit slow. Oops, sorry, my PC is about to run out of battery at the moment. Let me plug it in a minute in case it goes down. And that's not using musicality as far as I'm concerned. If I disappear, it's because I'm going to go and plug it in. So it is about being a competent follower, being confident and relaxed in what you're in your dancing with your leader. And if you've listened to a lot of music, you'll feel quite comfortable engaging in that musicality and being quite free about it. But inappropriate dancing to different types of music doesn't make sense to me. That's not musicality. Right, going to go and plug in.
Sonia, over to you. Again, the same question to you.
Sorry, what was the question?
The question was, different types of music. Are you going to adhere to the strict musicality vibe, or do you believe like with a semba, you kind of lose that kind of tightness and you're just free flowing and you're maybe veering away a bit from the musicality, the strictness of the musicality?
No, I don't believe you do, no matter what you're dancing to. Excuse me. I mean, if you have musicality, you will keep that whether you're dancing kizomba, semba, salsa, bachata. Yeah, I agree with what Petronia and Winston have said. You're not going to lose your musicality if you have it in the first place. And if you're dancing with a competent leader, you will be able to react to whatever they're doing as a follower. Yeah. So no,
I think it's interesting, Sonia, that we're looking at it just from one side, but of course we got the leader follower situation where, you know, you're dependent on the leader in some cases. So Andrea, you know, the question to you, you know, you're doing a different genre of music, Kizomba or, you know, Ghetto Zouk, and all of a sudden, are you losing, or does it go straight across the board?
I agree with everyone else. If you have musicality within you, whatever you're dancing, you will use your musicality. I think actually when I dance or lead Semba, I'm probably more on point with my musicality, because by the very nature of the dance, you're dancing with someone. You want them to be safe. You want to make sure that nobody trips up, nobody falls over. So yes, you have the musicality, but I'm also aware that I'm dancing with somebody who I need to keep safe in the dance. So my musicality is still there. I put a comment up. Sometimes I'm dancing with a follower who may feel they want to express themselves in with their musicality. So I have to hold back what I want to do, because they're all way off wherever doing their thing. So yeah, it sometimes that can be really difficult if the follower interrupts my musicality. I agree with Winston. The more competent the dancer, the more you can express your musicality. If you're dancing with somebody who's maybe not as experienced, then you have to hold it back a bit. But if the follower is meant to mirror the lead, that's Kizomba. That's how it is. Yes, if you have a good lead, they will allow you to express yourself at certain parts of the music when they release you, when they have you at their side, whatever. But if you're going to go off and do your own thing, it's really, really difficult to. I have to hold back sometimes because the followers off doing their own thing. But I think when I dance, so if I'm dancing, to be fair, I don't lead a lot of the slower songs because I don't want to. But I have a couple of ladies who want to dance, but they don't want to dance the slower dances with the men, so they'll come to me. And that I love because I can really express the song, music, the melody, the voice, whatever I'm listening to. But yeah, I think with Semba, I'm more focused on my musicality, maybe. But no, I'm not. My musicality is within me. I couldn't say that I vary. I think it's more to do with the partner that I've got and what their ability is.
Interesting. Yeah. So from guys, listeners, and viewers, we're getting from the panel, and of course Andrea, that it's in you, and you kind of across the board, you just keep that kind of strictness. I mean, Dixon, are you going to tell us something different? Are you always on the same musicality level, or depending on genre, do you lose that a little bit?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm always on point with the music, and like I said, I actually said this before. For example, in Semba, everybody has a perception of Semba being in one style in whatever. Even Semba, there's actually some songs that require a very strict form of Semba, where the lady won't have much opportunity to express herself because the song requires us to be in a more strict form. And then obviously when the song goes, for example, faster, where we can kind of, it's a bit more, it kind of is asking me to show off more. I will show off more as well, depending obviously like Foxy said, on the ladies' competence. You know, I mean, but for me, personally, doesn't matter her competence, because I know that as long as she's stepping, I can always trick her. So it's not an issue. But the song changes. For example, to Ghetto Zouk, I change. I change completely my form. I change completely. But and I'm gonna be very strict in what I'm gonna say here, because it's like, for example, I always joke with my Angolan friends. I always joke with them. I always say, you guys only have two speeds: super fast or super slow. You know, for them, any ghetto zouk is an excuse to tarraxinha. Do you know what I mean? Any other of most of us palops, it won't necessarily be that, because most of us palops, we are dancing passada. We're not even dancing kizomba. We're not even dancing samba. We are dancing passada. So the song, a ghetto zouk song, or I don't know, even can't say coladera. Coladera is a bit of far fetched, because I also switched when coladera music is playing. I also switched to that mode. If compa is playing, I switch to compa, and I'm gonna shock you right here. If it's playing Kasav, depending on how fast that song is, I will very choose if I want to dance samba, or if I want to dance. Sorry, my lights was off. Or if I want to dance, or if I want to dance zouk. In this case, do you know what I mean? So again, I can tell you that when Pashoni was saying 98% of the people are listening to the music, I can guarantee you that it's not 98%. It's probably 2%. It's probably 2%. And one thing you people need to understand, I love watching people dancing. You know, even if I go to an English club, I see lots of Mick Jaggers. I observe the dance floor. That's something I've been doing since I was young. I always could dance. I always knew I could dance. I love dancing. I was trying to be a bit more composed, I would say, more composed. Can't be so African, can I? So I was literally trying to, I always observe the dance floor. It's one of the things that I love to do. And bear in mind, I do that as a person and when it comes to be a DJ, that actually became my best asset when I'm playing music, to know what is this guy's enjoying? What are they vibing? Are they vibing more to this? Are they vibing more to that? Do you know what I mean? But I can tell you one thing. If I drop a compa track, everybody will keep dancing kizomba to it or samba to it or whatever. There's it might be a 1% that will be dancing compa, and I still will pick up the mic, compa, compa. Everybody shouting compa. People still dancing whatever, what they know. I know it's not their fault that they don't know. That's why, for me, in my musicality workshop, I decided to add a compa into the equation. I won't be wasting my time too much on it. I won't be showing how to do the fancy goyard, the problematic goyard where the lady is going. That's too dangerous. But still, to try to enjoy them, to understand the cadence of the music, how it's done, and try to show them the polite side of compa, not the grind side, Pashonia. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying,
Hey, I was
Dixon?
paying
What are you
attention.
saying?
I
I
was
was
paying
going
What
to
are you
say,
attention.
what
saying?
are you saying,
What are
Dixon?
you saying, Dixon? What are you saying? Come on.
You Caribbeans, you know. I just said this today on my radio show, on our Salsa Soul Radio. You know what I mean? It's like Caribbean music, Zouk music, compa. It's Caribbean music. It's all about the whining. Even Cuban music, it's all about the whining. He does a salsa turn, turns out right, whine it. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't see Caribbean, or I don't see Tarraxinha with any, let's say, denigration. I don't see it just because, oh dear, that's just because the white counterparts don't like it. That's a you problem. Anyway, back to the music. It's very important that when you are teaching the music, if the teachers, for example, the love compa, are not teaching compa, or are choosing a compa track to teach kizomba or sem whatever moves they're doing, is it right? It's not right. If I choose a compa track, they should teach something compa. And this is the part of the problem. A teacher chooses a track to teach a move, and the move does not correspond to the music. Your student will think it's okay, but it's wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's messed up. It's messed up. And I'm gonna say some of the people were saying that in the chat. I must inform, when the DJ is cutting the music, that's Kizomba culture. The DJ is like DJing like it's R&B. If he wants to play 1 minute of the song, is none of our business. The DJ, if he wants to do that, I mean, Foxy, I've seen your favorite teacher do that, and it was shocking. But in the words of
teacher.
Costa, when he's playing, I see him do the most deadly cuts that I never seen in my life. But he said in the mic after, he literally put me in place. I didn't say nothing. I was just listening. And he said, "My name is DJ Tocosta. This is not a democracy." Bro, listen, this is the truth. You guys go to the Kizomba. If the DJ doesn't want to, again, if the DJ is cutting music, it's Kizomba culture. I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's European right, but I'm just saying the DJs, some DJs, they just want to play as much songs as they can in one night.
But that's wrong.
Musicality speaking, I don't agree with it completely. Okay, because I'm that guy. When the DJ cuts the Goyat part of some compa tracks, I'm guy. Did he just did this? I'm not gonna say a word. I'm not gonna complain. The DJ chooses what he does. I can choose the DJ where he is. You know what I'm saying?
Does this affect the musicality? Does this affect, just on that point, does it affect the musicality?
It affects your bloody dance. That's what it does. Because you're trying to dance, and the DJ. Sometimes I want to take my shoe off and launch it because I'm like, you've just destroyed the song. Let's get into the crescendo. You've just cut it. I'm agreeing with Andrea. It's wrong. If you're doing that at a certain time in the dance, maybe it's just about to finish, and you're just doing one after. That's fine. But in the middle of the dance, you're cutting the music like that.
Foxy.
And it's always the good tunes. Always the good tunes.
Foxy. Let's be clear. I'm saying this is part of the culture. I'm not saying I agree with it, okay? Let's be straight here. Because for me, for example, there's certain songs, and Andrea was bang on the money earlier on. There's some songs that have a crescendo, which means the person's gonna be singing on the highest notes like Mariah Carey, but not Mariah Carey. And it was like, and everybody's waiting to sing that part together. And comes the DJ and locks into the next song. And I'm like, and then you and the other person that you're dancing, you actually vibing, you actually in connection. You are about to sing, or you about to drop that compa goyad, or that hard tarashinha that you know that I'm gonna.
Oh yes. The
DJ cuts it, and I'm gonna be like, again, because I'm part of the culture, I'm not gonna say nothing.
Is that deliberate, do you think, on the DJ's part in some respects? Because
no.
Is it not
this is
knowledge?
The part where the DJs are trying to be DJs, but they don't understand the dance school's rules that we are creating. Make sense?
Okay.
There are some songs, for example, let me give you an example. There's some songs that they don't have a crescendo. There are some songs that are 4 minutes, 5 minutes. They have a song, they have a tarashinha like break in the middle, and then the song is a repetition of the first moment. That song, if I know that song doesn't have a crescendo, it doesn't require me to continue to it means that in that little break, I can cut and mix another song. Nobody's gonna bat an eye, because the people who know the songs know, this is just a repetition. Next, I'm ready for the next. So I play 2.5 minutes and a half, which should be the required in the music.
Fine.
I play 2 minutes and a half. Give me a second, Foxy. 2 minutes and a half. There's that little break. I can mix the beginning of the next song. Enter. Pasó nada. Nobody will say nothing as long as the transition is not tilting you. Yep. You like a silent in the night, ninja in the night, doing the nice blend. Nobody's gonna kill you. Imagine you do that to a song where you know that the BPM is gonna go a little bit higher. The song is gonna allow you to actually do the moves, because some songs you are still waiting, and when it comes that part is when we kind of show off. Let's do some moves. Let's do some more pasada. Let's kind of activate our samba moves. and do a few combinations, it's the prime time to express. Now, if the DJ is not being coached by the organizer or the dance teacher, that's another problem. It's another problem. The DJ it can be another problem. That's why we spoke before in previous shows before. DJ, I'm gonna tell you what to play. I'm not gonna let you mess my night because I know that my student's gonna kick off.
Yeah, I think we'll add to that as well. I think it may have been mentioned. It's called DJ Wars, where you maybe have 2 or 3 DJs on the night, and they all trying to play their tracks. Yeah, they're all trying to get their tracks in before the other DJ does. So that's another reason. Guys, we really need to go to the comments. Thank you, Andrea. One here. I believe dance chemistry makes musicality. Why? Okay, there are so many instruments being played while I'm listening to the bass. I'm guessing somebody is listening to something else. Clearly, there will be a problem in dancing together. Good point. I think if you love the music, listen to it enough, your musicality comes out. It helps if your partner lets you put your own flavor into it too. Someone agreeing with Winston. Exactly. I don't understand opera in Italian or French, but you can absolutely interpret it. Good one. I like that. Another one. I've done a few musicality classes. If they do helping people pick up stuff, especially learners. The rest, I agree with Winston. You need to listen and obviously put the work in. Yeah, it's right. Serena, good evening. She's late, but she wasn't too late. Yeah, you need to listen to the first part of the show, Serena. There's some brilliant
Serena's
comments.
always late.
Let's try and get some more. Clarissa, how are you, Clarissa? Musicality for me doesn't mean losing technique or strictness. It means feeling the music and emotions within it. Expressing what you hear is a beauty of the regardless of the style. Yes, but if it's Mick Jagger and he's expressing his emotions and feelings, but is not in rhythm, where's the musicality? Clarissa, you can come back on that one. Someone's just said musicality is musicality. It's not there in one dance and it's not in another. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Can I ask why this question has been asked? It's about musicality. We ask different questions.
That was Carlita. I have answered her.
Again, we have a few. Andrew's put in some comments there. Clarissa, again, my perfect dances are when you interpret songs in the same way with your partner, provided there is a respect for the music. There is a wrong interpretation. So yeah, I mean, this partner thing is the problem, really, guys. I mean, if one's doing one thing and another's doing another, it can have an impact. But then the question is, if you're meant to follow the leader, that's what you should do. Serena said, Tocosta, the original Gembar offender, cutting that music for political reasons. Yeah, we know Tocosta. He's done it in festivals as well. Just like, what are you doing, sir? But we know he's the main man, so we forgive him. Yeah, keep the comments coming.
Sorry, back it up. He's a good DJ. I don't care what anybody says. He's one of the best.
Yeah. So yeah, I said he's the main man. So look, guys. I mean, he's coming out with some good stuff always on.
I love the main man. I don't want to cut like he cuts. I love the main man.
But you can't challenge him.
I don't want to cut the music like he does.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. I can assure you, guys.
He's not the first.
No, he's not the only one.
No.
Guys, I mean,
some people's the follow the uncle, the master uncle.
Guys, I've got to ask this question. It's coming. I've been waiting to ask it. When your dance partner lacks a musicality, do you believe it has an impact, or do you kind of, let's say, adapt to the non-musicality? And the big question here is, and probably for the ladies, do you kindly say to the gentleman, I think you're a bit offbeat. I think we mentioned it earlier, and I was waiting to ask it. Do you have the guts, or guys? Do you say to the woman, you need to up your game, follow me, get on my vibe? Let's go to Andrea first. Andrea.
I would never dream to tell anybody. If I'm doing a lesson, that's different, and we'll talk about the beat, listening, how important it is to be in time with the music, whether or not that, because again, it's different, because somebody might be dancing to an instrument that you can't necessarily hear or you've not picked up on. My job as a follower is to follow the lead, whatever he's doing. If I think that somebody's really not on time, then yes, I can slow them down a little bit or speed them up, or I will hesitate myself so that they're more with it on time with me. But would I tell somebody? No, I wouldn't tell them, but I also, yeah, no, I wouldn't tell them, but I would. It's my job to follow as a follower. It depends what I'm doing. If I'm dancing with somebody, if I'm leading and the lady's not on time and I've tried everything I can do to get her to follow me, I will go with her. I will change the way that I'm dancing. I was always taught as a dancer that it was my job to make the follower look good. It's their job to make me look good. I still hold with that, that if I'm a follower, it's my job to make the lead look good. If I'm leading, it's my job to make the follower look good. That's my responsibility in this part of the conversation. Again, if I'm dancing with somebody who's only just started and they haven't grasped the musicality side of it, that's absolutely fine. I would rather do side basic with somebody who's on time to the music than be worried about doing 344,000 steps in 2 minutes. So if somebody's just doing the foundation steps and doing them well, I'm more than happy with that. I'm not worried about musicality. But if I'm dancing with somebody who it's a Semba track, say, and they're doing slow, slow, quick, quick, slow all through the song, and you can tell that that's all they've been taught, or that's all they feel that they need to do, then I may not dance with that person again. But I wouldn't ever. It's not my job to be, when I'm dancing, when I'm different from when I'm teaching to when I'm dancing. When I'm dancing, I'm a dancer, and it's not for me to have a go at somebody about how they're dancing. If they will probably understand that they need to improve their timing, maybe. But it's not when I'm dancing. I'm dancing. I'm listening to the music. I'm feeling the vibe of the person I'm dancing with. I'm not going to start telling people that they're off time. When you're in my class, that's different, because you've come to me to learn, and that's so I need to teach you. But when we're on the dance floor, that the dance floor is not somewhere to be teaching people, and people's egos are fragile enough as it is. They don't really need somebody saying to them, "Oh, you're off time." They'll be able to tell when they're off time. Some of them, maybe not everybody, but yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrea. That's some wise words there, and it surprises me a little because often teachers, they don't intentionally do it, but they might want to guide. But that's good to know. So guys, don't worry. Most people won't say something. You have a few egos out there that might. One thing you did mention that was interesting to me is that I've seen a guy who's 6'6" from a few years back, and his wife was doing Kizomba, then he started doing Kizomba, and being 6'6", he was not awkward. He definitely wasn't awkward, and he done salsa, but he looked obviously different. But he somehow learned this musicality, and he didn't have a lot of moves, but he just having that musicality, he looked, so in time, and the rhythm was good. Even though he done 3 moves, it just looked so nice, and you could tell the women enjoyed it. So it can happen. Petronia, you're dancing with someone, musicality's out, man or woman. You could be dancing with Andrea. are you going to politely say, hey, listen, Andrea, you're out of beat, yeah?
Thanks for coming to me first.
Be careful,
No.
be careful, Andrea.
I wouldn't say that I would say come out with it like that. I haven't. I would have to have a rapport with anybody. Funnily enough, I've danced with, over the years, quite a few guys, which are my main leaders, who will happily tell me where I'm going wrong. Happily tell me where I'm going wrong all the time, every chance they get, whether they know me or not. And they'll say it in a nice way, but they will say it. Oh, yeah. Oh, they'll show it. And if I was to try and do that to them, my word, I may never dance with that man again, because he won't want to. It won't matter how I've said it. It won't matter if I said it in a friendly way, or I've known them for a long time and just one thing, or you know, even as a jokey thing, it's about ego, and in general, it's not taken well. So as the years have gone on, I've learned obviously not to do that, and you just try to enjoy the dance, but the musicality will be off, and I will have to adjust my dancing accordingly. That's all I can really say on that, because it is going to be different for a follower and a leader. I'm not saying I'm the best at all. I like to think that I can follow most people, but there's obviously going to be some people that I can't follow for whatever reason. And it could be because their beat is off, or their musicality is not the best. They could be learning, they could be sufficiently good dancers, but if it's off, it's off. But I have learned to enjoy the dance or continue with the dance, because I don't want to rub someone else's ego up the wrong way. But I have to say that the boot being on the other foot, no, there are quite a few followers who are always trying to teach me something and push me where I'm going wrong. So that is one thing we have to take on board as some followers. Your experience might be different, Gary, of course, being a leader. I don't know how you would deal with that, or it's something you've had to, but my experience would be different to, say, even Andrea's, for example. I have to, Andrea, I know you come from a teacher's perspective, so you can see both sides quite well. Not being a teacher, I can be dancing with guys who are not teachers at all, but yeah, they will tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, Petronia, what I would say, I think you're kind of right as well. You know, guys, what so far Andrew and Petronia are saying, they wouldn't really say anything. They kind of aware that they probably learned not to say much. The only one thing I've heard was someone once said, "You're excitable tonight." Not excited, not excited, excitable. So it was mean. It was meaning I was moving a bit quicker than normal. Yeah. And I guess I'm known to be moving slow, but she said, "Oh, what's happened to you tonight? You're all excitable." So wasn't offbeat. It was just a comment, and yeah, I didn't mind what she said, but yeah,
that's
I mean,
nice.
I'm open.
That's a comment. That's just that's not a criticism as such,
Yeah,
is it?
so,
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I hope you wouldn't do that to me, Petronia. But we don't really get to dance.
Never.
We don't really get the chance to dance. You don't really ask us to dance, so you know. That would be great.
Gary, please. Don't even get me started.
Sonia.
We saw you in action on Saturday, Gary. Don't get me started.
I wasn't meant to be there.
Fight.
I see. Mum's the word. So okay, keep losing track of the question, Gary.
No, so what we're saying was quickly what we're saying is, you know, if your partner's offbeat, essentially musicality is a bit out and you're dancing with them, obviously it impacts your dance, especially if you're doing your own thing. But would you kind of tell that person, look, you're offbeat or your musicality is a bit whack, or would you say something?
No, I've learned not to say anything because unfortunately the male ego is very, very fragile. If I know the person, I'll continue to dance with them, but I wouldn't say anything to them, especially if they're beginners. You know, I don't mind dancing with newbies. If I don't know them, I'll dance one dance, pat them on the back, thank you very much, and avoid dancing with them again. Just very recently, I was dancing with somebody who I know well, and it was Semba, but they were dancing Tarashina. And I said, could you move me around a bit? Because, you know, I really want to enjoy the dance. Well, that girl was upset for the whole night. And again, only very recently, this guy was trying to move me and I didn't quite get where he was going. And he said, oh, I haven't moved you. Where are you going? I said, yeah, but I don't know what you're doing. And that was it. He was upset for the night. So no, keep it zipped, dance, thank them at the end and move on.
Sonia, that's really entertaining. I mean, now we know why we're losing the leaders in Kizomba. We're losing them at the rate of knots because these ladies are telling them where they're going wrong. They're getting upset and leaving the scene. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Winston, are you going to stay in the scene or are you going to let them bully you out of it? Tell us.
I've been here 12 years, mate. I ain't going nowhere. No, but for me, I would never try and correct anybody on the floor if they're dancing a certain way. I wouldn't. I would tailor my dance to them or to their ability. And if it means I just do very simple passada, that's all I would do. If they're not a competent dancer, I would just tailor how I dance with them. That's it. I see so many people dancing with beginners and they're doing leg lifts, they're doing dips and tricks. And I look at them, what the heck you doing? It's a beginner. And it's only because they want to show off. They want to be the big man. And to me, I look at it's just pathetic. So to me, I would tailor my dance to somebody, whatever their level is. And that's it. And then that at least that way they will still have a nice dance and it's down to their level. But I will never correct anybody. I remember I was in Budapest, I think it's 2021, and there was a gentleman dancing with a young lady, and she was clearly a beginner, and he destroyed her on the dance floor. He was trying to teach her while he was dancing, then got upset and frustrated and walked off and left her. And I felt so sorry for the woman, and I took her. I saw what happened, and I went up to her, took her, and she, I'm a beginner. I said, don't worry. And we danced. And I spent a little time with her. I didn't say anything. I didn't try to teach her anything, but she was so appreciative that I spent some time with her. Afterwards, she came up to me and said, thank you so much for that. But I had seen what the guy had done to her. He literally annihilated her on the dance floor. So I would never say anything. I would just dance with somebody. I mean, I danced with someone recently, and I'm not lying. They couldn't do a side to side. They could not do a side to side. I mean, it's the most fundamental step in every single dance. They could not do a side to side. But I thought, okay, I would just try to lead them into that step as best I could. And that was it. And just went round and back, and that's all. That's it. And I gave her more than one dance. I probably danced 2 or 3 times. Just to thank you. And that's it. And move on. I would never try to teach anybody anything unless somebody said to me on the floor, show me how to do this. Then I would do something. Other than that, hell no, I wouldn't do it. Even in the class, I wouldn't correct somebody unless they said to me, did I do that right? But for me I would never try and correct anybody. And that's only because of my experiences previously when I've had corrected somebody in salsa. I remember many years ago, I was at LGS, probably Janet's listening, and I was in the class and a lady did the move wrong. And I went, oh no, it's not done like that. It's done like this. And she turned to me and said, you're not the teacher. And I was like, okay. And from then, I don't tell anybody anything. I shut my mouth. So that's me. I'm out. I don't say nothing.
Winston, brilliant, really good, Foxy there. And what we've
Salsa
seen now,
Eagles, Salsa Eagles.
what we're saying now is we got people like Petronia helping us to lose the guys by telling them what for, and now she's understood she can't. And Winston's saving the women from leaving.
Actually, I didn't say that, Gary. I didn't say that I'd tell them what for. I'm saying I wouldn't do so because even
Yeah,
if I said so jokingly to anyone, they might take it badly. So I've not done that. It's the guys who've done that with me, is what I'm
wow.
saying.
And you're
The
still
boot
here,
was on the other foot.
Winston saving us. Andrew's put one up here for
Yeah.
us. Andrew, do you want to put that back up? There are dance floor teachers that are vocal, yeah. Don't like those. I've had the pleasure of dancing with Andrea, who will bring you positivity or bring you in positively. Never criticize, always positive. Fought me etiquette. Thank you, Andrea. I don't know who that is, but a lovely message there for
Dorothy.
Andrea.
That's
Who?
Dorothy. Dorothy.
Dorothy. And
I
Dorothy,
love dancing with her.
I danced with on Saturday. So before anyone attacks me, Dorothy, I danced with on Saturday. Thank you, Dorothy. It was a lovely dance. You came to get me. Some others didn't. Thank you very much. Winston Fox, I want you to push me so I can learn. I don't want you to take it easy. So Winston, they want you to annihilate them. Come on.
That's Georgia.
Who's that, Andrea?
Georgia. Georgia.
Georgia Sheenia. Georgia Sheenia. Hi, Georgia.
She wants you to kill her. Go kill
She
her.
wants you annihilate
Please
him.
don't.
Annihilate.
Please don't. I like dancing with her.
Okay, we've got some others. Andrea, I'm gonna pick a couple from the box. I
There's a
think
few
Clarissa
comments on
said
YouTube
something.
as well. Really good.
Yeah, Lee
Who?
Smooth has said something. Clarissa, she's says I can tell I'm dancing with a beginner and they are off beat. I will back lead and put them right. Otherwise, I won't be able to follow anything, and that would be a car crash. Interesting, Clarissa. Serena saying I lose the will to live, especially if they're messing up a song. I think this is going for the DJ cut in. I won't necessarily tell them. I'll make a note and give them a wide berth. I don't know if that's dancing or a teacher or a DJ there. Another one, it's painful when your partner is not on the beat. Makes a 2-minute song last an hour. Very hard to tell them, but sometimes I get told to slow down. Sometimes you get taken by the music and the following becomes a chore if you're not in sync musically. Guys, I want to go back to Dixon. Dixon, I know you would never tell a woman where she's going wrong if she's out on a musicality or beat. Do you confirm that?
No, bro. Oh my God, I was having 10,000 heart attacks when Peshonia was saying that. Even with Sonia's as well, some of the things is like Sonia was actually very strict on it. She doesn't even try to. But Serena it was going nuts on YouTube, and I was actually trying to tell her. The guy is telling you. Imagine you. This is the thing for me because culturally speaking, bro, you get punched. You can get punched, bro. You do that to a woman in my culture, bro. Imagine, and you are the one that's an offbeat. If she decides to endure that dance, because in our culture they won't. You got like 1 minute to impress her. 1 minute to impress her. Less than that, some of them. You know what I mean? Again, some of them will endure because they also know the etiquette of dance, so they will endure it. But if you say, you dancing, you don't dance good, or you doing this, they're gonna tell you to your face. You know what I mean? So I think there needs to be a certain levels of respect. And personally, I'm the person I like to instigate problems when it comes to the guys who like to teach on the dance floor. They don't do classes no more. You know, they probably had their last class in the first year. They probably been dancing Kizomba for 10 years doing the same thing that they do, or they go to a different tango class. They go to a tango class and they try to do the move in Kizomba and they try to make you stupid. Not only they make you look stupid, you know, and you actually will believe you're stupid. Which for me, it's heresy. You know, it's like no, it's a no go. You know, I mean, people should try to actually connect, and I think this is a big issue. Connect to the music. We've been saying this. I think there's a few little things that dance teachers we don't agree in a lot of things, but everybody says the same regarding to the music. Everybody says about the same thing. Kizomba music, in the Kizomba umbrella, it's about listening to the music, connect to your dance partner. This is not just for the man. This is for the man and for the woman. Together, we're listening to the same song. We are supposed to, in theory, be singing to the same song in our minds. If we're a bit drunk, fine, let's sing it loud. The music is so loud, nobody will hear us. Anyway, it's not right. It's not right to try to. And again, me and Leon Morgan, Lee Smooth, right? We were talking about if the lady doesn't know how to follow to the beat. Some ladies, they come from the other genres. Jesus Christ, it's like trying to dance. We're not talking the same language because they don't know the same language. But dancing with a lady who dances salsa, she's dancing salsa. I'm dancing. I'm trying to dance kizomba, or she's dancing bachata. She's tapping and she's doing a hip trust every little side to side. Again, again, for me, it's not an issue. I will follow, but I'm not that stupid. So if she cannot do nothing, I will dance merengue with her in the kizomba merengue spectrum. A lot of people call compa Haitian merengue, semba Angolan merengue. Pasada is based on merengue. You dance merengue, and you do not. There's no chance she can tap. There's no chance, and you just walk with her everywhere. That's simple. But I can tell you, I had situations. I had situations before, and it's obviously when it's very tricky when I'm dancing with people from my own culture, you know. And I had this situation. I think I went to Miro Kikola's night when he was in a, I don't know where it was, but he went on a Thursday. I went there to check the night. You know what I mean? And there was this Mozambican lady. I saw her, and so, I hate when people say I'm a teacher because it ruins everything for me, to be honest. But someone said, "Ah, this guy's a big teacher." Blah blah blah. I was like, and the lady looked at me. Oh, is it? I want a samba, and I was like, in my mind, I thought she must be really good. I started to dance with her, and she was doing her own drops. She was doing her own footwork, and my face was like, everybody was looking at me. It's like they never saw me in that distressing moment where I'm like, I'm literally trying to analyze what she's doing, and I start to follow her. I didn't say nothing. I start to follow her. No problem. If it was in a different type of event, she thinks she knows more, I will follow her. Because this is the thing, as a dancer, sometimes you will be the follower in our culture. If the woman wants to dance in a specific certain way, I ain't gonna tell her wrong. I'm gonna tell her wrong, especially if it's an auntie or a granny. I'm not gonna tell her wrong. I want to live forever.
Can't tell auntie, mate. No way.
But let me explain this. Because of that situation, she said she wanted to dance samba. The first song, I let her do what she wanted. She insisted samba, and she was kind of looking at me, down on me. Oh, you're a teacher, right? Come on then. And I was like, okay. Second dance, I kicked their ass. I hold her traditional samba traditional form where she cannot do nothing. I'm in charge. And I danced, I did tricks, I kicked her bum. I did all those tricks, and she was like, what the hell happened? When we finished, then they saw a different Dixon, you know. But the first dance, I was like, panic. My face was this. I was like, wait. But because it was also a samba, very fast paced samba, I must say. Not many people can dance on that fast pace. The second dance was a different conversation, but we danced. We had a good time. In the end of the dance, she was looking at me. Oh, that was good. And I was like, that's the intricacies of the dance and culture. But again, I do think that one of the things that is missing is people are not listening to Kizomba music as they should. Another very important thing that I keep saying, it's like, I would advise start learning pasada again to everybody. You know what I'm saying? For example, Winston, I've seen you dance. I've seen you shift no matter the genre. I've seen you shift, right? But there's a lot of people who love samba who just want Angola, 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 Angola. That's fine. And they will only dance samba or some fast paces, let's say cadence tracks that are nicely fast to dance samba. I wouldn't dance samba on those occasions, like I said. But there's a lot of people that it's like to certain ghetto zouk tracks that are upbeat that you can still move. You can still dance passada. You can even put some tricks in it if you want to, but they will grind the woman to death.
Yeah, baby.
They will grind the woman to death. And
Oh yeah.
that song, it's like
Hallelujah.
you could dance,
Hallelujah.
you could do so many moves with that song, and you still and I'm like, whatever, man. And none of my business. It is tricky, man. It's very tricky. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the new upbeat tempo songs, for example, because the song is always changing. You know, back in the day, you wouldn't hear many music from Mozambique. The panza is coming in, and the urban kissers are listening to a lot of panza. For example, that is very electronic at the moment, and they playing these tracks in the dance floor. And then some of these urban kissers, they come and dance with a lady. I tell you already, lady, if you're paying attention to this crazy dancer, and he comes to invite you to dance, you say straight away, I don't dance that. You draw the line, I don't dance that. You say, I don't dance that. I don't do these crazy things. It's the same thing as bachata sensual and bachata dominican. If a lady doesn't dance sensual, say, I don't do that. You have to state the rules of engagement before you are in the engagement of the music. Because you tell him already, if you do that, I'm going to drop you. If you do that thing, that crazy robotic thing, I'm going to drop you. And this is one of the biggest problems with the fusions. The fusions create a problematic musicality issue because even for people from the people that don't know better, they think, that's Urban Kids. No, it's not. Urban Kids people, they don't have their music. It's the Palop people that make the music. We are the ones making all the music. Look, DJ Paparazzi, Mr. Tarrashinha. You think an Angolan guy is going to produce Urban Kids music? You're crazy. You're crazy. And this is the ignorance. Like I said in the early of the show, yes, music is interpretation, but if you don't know what you're saying or you don't know, shit, go back to school. Go back to school. You make a service to yourself because if it's like Andrea, you said you don't like in the festivals. Do you know how hard it took me to start teaching musicality in festivals? I've been doing it for 3 years now, but I've been pitching it for years. In the Latin events, they said, nah, we don't need that. But they had bachata musicality, salsa musicality. They never let me teach until I had my first break-in. And now every festival, most of the times I'm getting hired, I teach Kizomba musicality. Kizomba Palop musicality. You know? And again, it's the idea that it's like a lot of people don't understand. For example, something so simple when we say, and Angolans say a lot when we play in certain tracks, can be samba or can be some upbeat tarraxinhas. When you say, oh no, matam, okay, I have to teach them in that musicality class, so they understand when we're doing this, we're not crazy. No, we are crazy. It's part of us to explain how the music is working, why we are saying certain things, to be able to educate them. You know, my father always taught me this: nobody was born with knowledge. So it's up to us to try to. I mean, I don't believe it's just to me. I believe if everybody that's watching this show that already kind of are putting thumbs up because they agree with me, it's your task to carry the flag. But especially the ladies, you ladies should set the score straight from the bat, because you're gonna have trolls coming and dancing with you, off beat, triple beat, 3 left feet, and you're gonna suffer. You're the one who's gonna suffer it. So, and again, oh my God, we needed 3 hours if I actually was talking more stuff. But
This
anyway,
is very comprehensive, Dixon. Guys, we're into the last minutes of the show. The last minutes of the show. I do want to just touch on a few comments from our loyal viewers and listeners. We don't want to leave them out. Lee Smooth. I ain't too hung up on people dancing off beat. In brackets, no musicality. They just out enjoying the dance. Why should I discourage that? And I think that's right. You know, we don't want to discourage. We're already losing people. You know, let's not get too hung up. Enjoy your night. You know, well said, Leon. Serena, I never get to dance with Gary O. He's always got a queue stretching out the door. That is very true, Serena. It's a common complaint, but you know what? You can ask me. You know, like Dorothy came and asked me on Saturday, and she got a dance. It's quite simple. Come and ask me, Serena. I've danced with you many times before. Just come and ask. Um, Again, Leon someone saying to Leon, you're too kind. It's true. He's a really kind guy. He's done taxi dancing alongside Winston. They're always making the ladies feel special. They're always there to help. Clarissa, being offbeat is different to no musicality for me. Interesting. Salsa is full of leads that give you a list of class routines on beat, but no regards to the music. If we had 3 hours, Clarissa, we could really respond to that, but we don't have the time. I'm
I already
sorry.
respond, bro. I already respond to her in the YouTube chat. In Kizomba, dancing off beat is heresy. African, Caribbean, Latin root, it's heresy. Latin, you can do that. I don't care. It's not my culture. Kizomba, dancing off beat, bro. Jeez.
Problems.
Oh my days.
Jeez, I agree. I agree.
Bro,
I agree.
You don't know how to dance off beat? Go to beginners. You don't know how to dance contratempo? Go to beginners.
Yeah. I've got a wicked one here. Sonia, I did the same, literally just standing still. He just looks at me now and he's still upset to this day. This is what you're doing to our fellow brothers. They're getting upset. They're leaving the scene because of how we treated. I don't know what to say. I'm not getting into a fight with Sonia. I'll leave that to someone else. There are dance floors where teachers vocal don't like those. I have had the pleasure of dancing with Angel. I think we had that one already. There's a lady that wants Winston to push her a bit harder. Gary O, but you weren't there on Saturday. Of course I wasn't. I wasn't there. Foxy and myself does taxi dancing. You know, that's Leon. They did taxi work and they're always making the girls feel nice. Gary O was cough busy. I'm getting abuse here. Winston, back me up, please. I'm getting in trouble now. Getting it. Please help me. Urban Kids should be against the law. Give a thumbs up, panel and host. Should it be against the law or not? Some urban hate here. And one last comment from us. It's so hard to get dancers to play with the interpretations on the music by playing with the timing, pauses, and expressive moves that reflect the nuances of the song. Okay, we've got a demanding person there. And one more. Happened to me. Happened to me was Kizomba and the guy started urban. I left the dance floor. He was so rude. So yeah, I mean, guys, very interesting. As I said, last minutes of the show, what I want to do is ask the last question. Just how important is musicality to the Kizomba umbrella? And do we really need to make it something part of the curriculum where for weeks on weeks we need to get and practice musicality? Let's start with Petronia. Do you believe it should be an intrinsic part of lessons, courses, and workshops?
Yes, in essence, I do. It's something that needs to be, that can be built upon if you don't feel it immediately. Yes, listen to the music. You've already got a feel of how much you love the music, so you want to listen to it, as Winston had said, and that's going to help with your musicality. On the dance floor, I totally agree. You can't dance without that intrinsic musicality issue behind you. Each song is different, and you will feel that beat, you will feel that music as you go along. You can't have the one without the other. It's quite simple. I mean, there'll be varying degrees for everyone, but it is intrinsic as far as I'm concerned. And yes, it can be taught in the main, no matter how long it takes. That's my bit.
Thank you, Petronia. Straight to Sonia. Over to you. Tell us.
Yes. As Super Dixon said, there's no room for dancing offbeat in Kizomba, Samba. You have to have a certain amount of musicality so that you and your partner can enjoy the dance and be in sync with one another, whether you're leading or following.
Thank you, Sonia. Foxy, last words of the night.
Yeah, I think if you want to elevate your dance to a certain level, then you have to incorporate musicality. If you don't, you're missing out on so much without having that musicality. So to me, do some workshops, definitely. Look at people like Costa, look at Eddie Vance, look at Rico, look at how these people dance. Look at Carlos Camba. Study these people who are at the top of their game. Yeah. To me, it is important because you're giving something different to your dance partner in terms of how you're interpreting that music and how you connect with the music and how you connect with your partner. And to me, if you don't have any musicality, then the dance is just going to be flat and empty. So I think you have to recognize you get to a certain level, you really need to pick up on musicality, listen to Kizomba, listen to Semba, watch the videos, watch the teachers, and it will definitely elevate your dance, 100%.
Wonderful. Thank you, Foxy. So, guys, you know what you need to do out there. Some last words from Super Dixon. Is it
Sonia
critical?
spoken.
Sonia spoken.
Is Sonia already given the last?
Yeah, I
Yes.
have.
Are you with us, Super Dixon? Are you with us? Are you
Incomplete,
with
because
us?
I wanted to say that if I ever go to a festival, I always make sure I do a musicality class. Yeah, even now, even after all my years of dancing.
Well, yeah, that's very important. I totally agree. I mean, uh, I can tell you this, Gary. For example, I started a new night recently, and I
Yep.
didn't offer. I'm not offering improvers, for example, yet. And I've been saying not yet. I'm still gathering my team on a Thursday in Thornton
Yep.
Heath. I'm doing a night there. It was supposed to be a salsa night. We managed to put in Kizomba. I could have advertised already another team, get someone else to teach, and we had two levels. I'm on purpose. I'm not offering that. And I'm literally saying, not yet. But if someone wants to come and learn, you might just learn something that you never learned before. One of the best things I have when I'm teaching a musicality class, or I'm teaching, and I teach musicality in every class, not just in what you call musicality class. I actually said this before. A dance teacher's job is to teach you to dance to the music, to teach you to interpret the music. If this dance teacher is blatantly not doing it, I mean, everybody wants to be a dance teacher without the actual knowledge. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, this is part of the problem. One of the things that made me a lot of confusion when I came to the UK, and I'm starting to learn how to be a teacher, which I must remind you, 14 years ago, I didn't want to be a teacher. I just wanted to be a DJ. But I started. So what's important is I was trying to analyze how these people are teaching, and it didn't match to how we dance. The moves didn't match to how we dance either, to the music, whatever. So when I had to write my method, I had to sit down and write and think how I'm going to adapt this method to the music. The response was immediate. I need to choose the songs that I'm going to do for the class. And I need to make sure that the class will adapt. If I choose specific types of song, this move will work in this specific sect of music that I selected. But if I decide, for example, to put a compa in a class that is imagine in a more samba structured class, it won't. It will work if I want to make it work, but I'm stealing money from your pocket. Do you know what I mean? It's very important as well. That's why it's so important that people choose the right teachers that will teach you the right information. You know what I mean? It's vital. It's vital. And one of the things I'm going to say, and again, I'm not going to point fingers to nobody, but when I started to teach the musicalities, and when I started to push more musicality events and push the agenda, especially on my radio shows, I started to push the musical agenda. All the other teachers, now they're teaching musicality. Now they're explaining when do you do side to sides. Now. I bet a lot of your students are doing my classes in the festivals because that's when we kind of going to meet. Or if I'm a guest teacher here and there, I heard so many times, nobody ever told me this. I looked at the person. It's like you are. He's like, and for you, it's bad luck because I know who is your teacher. And if you never heard this from your teacher, something is wrong. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is it. It's like back to basics. Doesn't hurt nobody. It doesn't make you less. It doesn't make you ignorant. And again, the key, the power of Kizomba, the power of Kizomba. I'm gonna say this nicely and polite. The power of Kizomba and the Kizomba culture umbrella, the Palop culture. The power of it is not on the dance. It's on the it's in the music. You listen to the music, you just walk in your house, doing your chores, doing your office job, doing whatever. The more Kizomba music, different types of Kizomba music you consume, trust me, it's going to elevate your dance level. Because I always said this as well, and this is my last statement for the night because I know we need to go. The reason why I'm a good dancer is because my relationship with the music is one. I'm one with the music. You know, there's only one master above the teacher. And Andrea said it nicely, politely in the beginning of the show. There's only one master above the teacher, and it's the music. That's how we managed to corrupt so many good people to our side. But there's a lot of people, and I'm going to say it, there's a lot of good people that come from the Latin world, salsa, bachata. They think they know more already. Like I said, they're the teenagers. They come to your house. I know everything. Oh, do you now? And I'm not going to lie, I'm not afraid to tell them otherwise. Because welcome to my house. This is the rules of my house. Don't like it? I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share with your friends. Big shout out for the panel. You guys are on fire as always. I want to see more fire. I know Sonia. I beg. I know you're fire. I know.
Thank you, Dixon.
Thank you
Thank you.
everybody for listening. Yeah.
Thank you. Just before we go, I must add, these talks are great. It shows multiple levels of understanding socially and musically, and all we're trying to do is have fun for a few hours dancing. Yeah. So an appreciation of the show. Again, Clarissa, thank you for the discussion. I'm learning more each week. We're appreciating you, appreciating us. Thank you very much. And Andrea, last comments from you. So it's important. It's part of the curriculum. Yes.
Absolutely, like everyone has said, it's the most important thing, and I would be encouraging followers to practice their musicality. Somebody asked about it in the comments. When when the Palop ladies go out and you will see them dancing in a group together on the edge of the dance floor. They will be practicing, they will be listening to the music, they will be singing to each other, and it will be a group of women dancing. The men will see this, and the men come over and pick the lady or whoever they want to dance with. But practice, I dance around my kitchen, my front room, wherever. If I'm not dancing when I'm out at an event, if I'm not dancing with a partner, then I'm dancing by the chair where I'm sitting. I'm enjoying the music and I'm playing with how my body moves to that song. And so I can feel confident in that, so that I can feel that I'm really enjoying the music and that sort of thing. But it's part of the culture for the ladies to stand together when they're not dancing, and you see them all the girls will all be dancing together, having a play with the song. They know the words. Obviously I don't speak Portuguese fluently. I get the gist of a lot of songs, and you can feel their enthusiasm for the song. That's what, as a follower, you can portray. You can, your enthusiasm for this music. So stand by the dance floor, dance to the music, feel confident with how your body moves and how you move to the music, and that will then help your interaction, I think, with leads, like Foxy was saying and stuff. If you're responding to the lead, he will respond even more to you. If you're answering, I see dance as a conversation between two people. If you answer my lead, then I'll speak more to you. If you're not responding to me, it's very difficult to keep that conversation going. It's like having a yes-no conversation, closed questions. Respond, be an active follower. That's what I say in my lessons. And we do in the lessons talk about, listen, the music's slowing here. No, nobody should be moving now. Look, you can hear the music picking up. It starts going. Enjoy dancing. That's the main thing I want to say. It's the main thing I want to say to people is to enjoy dancing. Smile when you're dancing. Enjoy it.
Another thing is be empathetic. Listening to the music is being empathetic. If you're not being empathetic, if you do not possess this little tiny quality, I know that everybody has empathy. I know that's proven. Narcissists don't have empathy, unfortunately. But again, towards the music, if you don't, you need to have more empathy towards Kizomba culture, Kizomba music. It will make you a much better dancer, and everybody will love to dance with you. And that's it. And this is male or female. Hope you have a good bless. Gario, closing.
Like to just, as always, say thank you to the listeners and viewers. We're very glad that we're able to impact you with regards to the Kizomba dance and the Kizomba umbrella. We hope you enjoy the show and keep dancing, guys. That's what we want. Keep dancing. It's your dance. Learn, keep stepping, keep going to your classes. Stay in the beginners, guys. Learn your trade and then explode. Andrea, see us out with a lovely song. Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.